Welcome to another episode of Meal Prep Monday. I'm your host, Allison Schaaf, and today I'm doing a personal update on how some of the animals we have out here in the country and how they are doing. Before we dive into the episode, a reminder that if you have not tried out our time-saving meal prep meal plans, head to prepdish.com/podcast for a free download. You can also text the number 33777 and you're going to text the word meal prep. So again, the number that you enter is 33777 and then the word meal prep, all one word, and it'll shoot you a link where you can sign up, put in your email address, and we will email you a free download of one of our favorite meal plans. You can try it out, see how you like it. Okay, so for today's episode, I thought I'd just do a little bit of a personal update here. I will link in the show notes some of the past episodes I've done on this. So in case you're a new listener, just kind of quick update on, we live in Texas, outside of Austin in the hill country on like 6.5 acres and we've had chickens for several years. So, oh gosh, we've lived here probably like 6 years and coming up on 6 years. And most of those years we've had chickens. I think we got them within a few months of moving in. And we have cycled through many a chicken. We do let our chickens free range during the day, meaning they are very exposed to all of the different critters that are out here. I think over time we've definitely figured out better ways to keep them safe. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the balance that you have to strike, or, figuring out, like, they definitely seem happier during the day running out and free ranging, but there are some risks with doing that. Primarily, I think raccoons and fox are probably the two big ones out here, but sometimes you don't even know, especially, we've had plenty of mama hens have babies, and when the babies don't make it, it's really hard to know what gets the babies because their predators are a lot larger in number. But the chickens have been a lot of fun. So the update on the chickens, we are up to, I think right now, I want to say we have 19. We replenished. So basically what we've found is a good number to have is between 15 to 20. I mean, even a little more than 20 is not a bad number to have, just because it gives you some wiggle room. In the fall, we got down to one rooster and 4 or 5 hens. Well, actually, no, 2 roosters and 5 hens. And we're like, okay, we need to replenish. So that's when we replenished with, does that do the math right? 5 and 2 and 12. So we replenished with 12. So I think it is 19. We're replenished with 12 baby chicks. And so when you get baby chicks, one, you keep them inside for a while, depending on the season. So this was in the fall. So we did keep them inside and then, transported them outside. And then it's a whole introduction to the older hens. I've noticed that the 2 groups still in the yard, because the ones that we got in the fall are now almost fully grown, but they still kind of have their own separate group from the older ones. So they're very cliquey, these chickens. There's hierarchy. The pecking order is a very real thing. Anytime we lose a chicken, the pecking order gets kind of wiped out and they start all over again. And it's pretty fascinating to see the dynamics. I would actually say, if you're interested in chickens, the number one benefit to chickens is they're just very entertaining. They all have their own little personalities. So they're very fun in that way. One of the reasons we did get them was for their eggs. The recent issue is in the winter, egg production slows down a lot, not only because of the cold, but I think it's also the shorter days. There's less daylight time, which is why sometimes you hear the factory farm chickens, they keep like a bright light on them at all times. So they like lay more, because they definitely lay more in the summer. In the summer, it's usually about 1 egg a day per hen. So, but we had production all through Christmas and the winter, which is through the shortest day of the year. And over the past 2 to 3 weeks, we stopped having eggs. A lot of times when this happens, it means they are running around the yard, laying eggs, who knows where. So we go on our Easter egg hunt to try and figure out where these eggs might be going. And then another thing is also to look at their nutrition, make sure they're getting enough food, enough water, the right, kind of a combination of protein, carbs, fat, all of that makes a difference. Interesting. It's similar to, to human fertility as well. Although it is interesting to me that like with hens, it definitely is more of a science that has been, I don't know. I almost feel like the chicken science is more firm than it is in people, but that's a whole other tangent. Anyway, so there is one hen that started laying in a big flower pot that I have. And so I know now I can find one egg a day there. She always lays there. And then two of them have started laying in the coop again. So I don't know what happened over those 2 weeks, if they stopped producing or if, and something can also come and take the eggs. That's less likely in the coop, but it can happen. And there's one hen that either is one or two hens, I think probably two hens that are still either not laying or laying somewhere around the yard. And I can't figure out where. So we are low on egg production. And when you have 19 chickens, it's really hard to go to the store and buy eggs. Like it just feels like, every day you have to keep them fed and give them water. And it's actually not that much work once you've done it for a while, but there is effort involved. And so buying eggs just feels wrong. So that's where we're at right now in terms of not buying a lot of eggs, not getting a lot of eggs. And the babies from the fall should start producing any time. It's usually around the 5 to 6 month mark. And it's depending if they're close in age. These I think are not all like born on the same day or two, but if they're close in age, it's really interesting that it all, if one lays like within the week, they're all laying. So I'm thinking that's going to start happening sometime in the next 3 to 4 weeks, that we'll start seeing hopefully some eggs from these. Well, 12, it's actually 11 new ones, because of the 12 new ones, one of them ended up being a rooster. They say that you can, when you buy baby chicks, they'll say it's all, they're all female, but in my experience, usually one or two of them always ends up being a rooster. We always end up with a few more roosters than we need. Luckily, one of our neighbors tends to always be like shorter rooster. She has one of our roosters right now. She's helped us out with several roosters. Right now we do have 3, but it's worked out okay. Sometimes that's a number is too high, but one of them he's been with us a few years and he's a little older, so he doesn't really control much anymore, but he kind of walks around with everyone. And then, there's one in charge of the older ladies. And then this new rooster, he's in charge with these 11 new ladies. So right now, chicken dynamics seem to be at peace, but the egg production could be a little better. So that is the chicken update. If any of you have chickens, I'm sure this conversation made some sense to you. If not, hopefully it's a little entertaining, but that's the latest with the chickens. The goats, if you want to go back and listen to past episodes, very short story is there was a goat that showed up at our back door. My son named her Fruit, and we kept her because we couldn't figure out where she came from, and she didn't want to leave. So she became our pet. And a few months later, she had a baby, and we named him Bean. And then we needed to separate them. Baby boy and mama can't be together for too long. So Fruit found a new home, which, side note, she also escaped from her new home and found a better home. So I think this is a pattern in her life of like always going on to like greener pastures. And then Bean was very lonely when she left. So we got him 2 new ladies, Della and Hameen. So we now have 3 goats. And basically the entire time we've had Hameen, one of the ladies, I have thought that she really looks pregnant, but now more so than ever. So the gestation period is 5 months, and we got them last June. So she certainly wasn't pregnant when we got her. I think now she is, and there's many days go out there just expecting to see. Now I'm expecting to see 2 babies. A lot of times goats will have twins or even triplets. Nothing yet, but I keep thinking maybe. The other night I woke up in the middle of the night thinking I heard a baby goat, but the next day there was nothing there, and she still is either very pregnant or very fat. They do eat a lot, so who knows, still out on that, but they are a lot of fun. We actually just built them a much larger fence, so they have a whole huge area to roam in and, chew up the trees and the grass and all of that. And I do have people ask us a lot, like, why do you have goats? Well, one showed up and we decided to keep her, and it kind of one thing led to another. I do think at some point we might milk, like if Amin would have a baby, we could, potentially milk and get goat's milk. We had a neighbor that did this for years with her goats, and she made goat's milk cheese. She also makes soap. She actually has a whole, company, and I still buy soap from her because she froze a lot of the milk, and so she still makes the goat's milk soap. So there's things like that we could do. Although part of me, I have always said, I still have a 2.5-year-old that is currently nursing and wakes me up, between the hours of 5 and 5:30 for that. So I've said, one at a time. I don't know that I want to still be nursing my son and also milking a goat, but maybe when our nursing journey is over, then I will be up for trying to tackle nursing a goat. I don't know. Still TBD. It's on the list for someday, but not in a rush to start that. It definitely is an endeavor, but something that we would like to do someday. And I think it would be fun to get the kids involved. And of course, like it would be fun to have the fresh goat's milk as well. So, that's the plan. That's not really the primary goal of having the goats. It's kind of like the chickens. They're just very entertaining and fun animals to have around, and definitely, their own personalities and such. And then other update is the bees. So we do have bees as well. I don't have as much of an update here, only because my husband basically handles everything related to the bees. I know they're there. We did lose one hive in the freeze. I want to say we have 5 right now, 5 or 6 hives, and we get some honey, not as much as we feel like we should for the amount of effort we put in. It's kind of a theme with all of these animals. And if you want, I did do an episode with him a year or 2 ago on the podcast, just so he could kind of talk through, like, if that's something you're interested in doing. He talked through kind of his experience with that. Again, I haven't been involved with that, but at some point I would like to get a little more involved. And I also think it's something that as the kids get older, I would love to get, little suits for them and get them out there. And, they already kind of know what he does and that they're out there, and they know some about it. And we have some books on bees and everything. But as they get older, I think that's something that will be a really cool project for them to be involved with as well. So yeah, that's the animal update. We have the 3 cats. They definitely don't, they provide a lot of love. That's about it there. And sometimes Lucius provides background noise in the podcast episodes. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I think usually the microphone I use cancels out any noises he's making. But if you do ever hear noises in the background, that's probably him. And trying to think if there are any other animal updates. Those are my animal updates. Thank you for joining in and tuning in. If this is of interest to you, I'm sure I'll be back next week with an episode that is more meal prep related. But I hope you enjoyed this one. And a reminder that if you have not tried out our meal plans, you can head to prepdish.com/podcast for a free download, or you can also text that number 33777 and the word meal prep, all one word, and just get a free plan. Try it out, see what you think, see if it's something that might help you have healthier, tastier meals. So that is it for today. I will be back again next Monday with another episode.